Hi everyone, my name is Danny, and this is going to be my review for the movie called The Sisters Brothers. The Sisters Brothers. Yep. So the description is based on Patrick DeWitt's novel. The Sisters Brothers revolves around the colorfully named gold prospector Herman Kermit Warm, who's being pursued across 1,000 miles of 1850s Oregon desert to San Francisco by the notorious assassins Eli and Charlie Sisters. Except Eli is having a personal crisis and beginning to doubt the longevity of his chosen career, and Herman might have a better offer. That's the description. Yep. This is a 2018 movie, rated R. It runs 2 hours, and it stars John C. Reilly, Joaquin Phoenix, Jake Gyllenhaal, Riz Ahmed, and Rebecca Root. So I went and saw this movie yesterday, and there was some people in my theater. There isn't much to see this weekend, so I decided to go see something that was supposed to be funny. It actually listed as a comedy of sorts online, and it's people I know and people I respect as actors. It seemed like a good storyline, even though it was a Western. I kind of figured I know what would happen. And so I decided to go see that, and I did, and it's not what I thought it would be at all. I thought it would be more of a shoot 'em up than it was. I thought it would be funnier than it was. And I thought it would be more serious and more dramatic than it was. It was just kind of underwhelming in all areas. The storyline about the brothers thinking that they might part ways and stuff is kind of okay. It's kind of a funny little twist on a Western, because Westerns are supposed to be about people who know what they are and know what their lifestyle is, and that they're stuck in that, and that it's going to be like that. So just accept it and try and survive. And these guys have a lot of conversations about how they think that their life could be different or could go a different way. And so, excuse me, you just had to turn the TV off. But the conversations that Riley and Phoenix have, they're funny. The way they talk is like genuine, and almost like these actors know how good of actors they really are. That's how the conversations go across. I was just kind of sitting there like, the lines that these guys are given, they're really delivering them. They're really having a serious conversation. They're totally into their character and what all these words coming out of their mouths mean. And it was just so intense that way that if you're just sitting there and you get a little bored with this movie, I think the speaking and the writing and the acting are the best parts of this, because everything else is just kind of like ho hum. They keep talking about this villain that's a little confusing. They keep talking about doing something else, but it doesn't ever show them do anything else. So you just kind of enjoy it for what it is, and what it is what it's supposed to be as a Western. And these guys are supposed to be entertained by what they are and supposed to be okay with that and just surviving. And this must be some legendary brothers, because they have plenty of chances to die. They're outnumbered most of the movie, and they should die at any given point, but they just don't. So the only question I had on a kind of a different thing was, when was the toothbrush invented? Because they kind of have their own version of a toothbrush, and this is supposed to be the 1850s. So That's the only other thing. Maybe if some of you feel like researching it. Um, yeah, I would say that the Gyllenhaal was all right. He was supposed to be kind of, like this other character that mattered throughout the movie that kind of kept going to him and stuff. We never really understand what's going on with that, other than him and the sisters end up meeting at some point, and oh, okay, so we were hearing about this guy because he ends up meeting with the sisters. I was like, but so I don't connect the whole movie together. I mean, I watched the whole thing and I got confused by a lot of it. So it ends up kind of making general sense because people end up meeting towards the end. But other than that, you don't really understand what the connection was and why they kept going to scene, doing kind of different scenario, letting you know what's going on with that person. So overall, like I expected more jokes about their last name. That didn't really come up. This isn't really a ha ha comedy. Like I had one guy sitting to my left. He was kind of, chuckling at a couple things. I chuckled at a couple things. Pretty much everybody else in my theater was kind of like, okay, to the whole thing. And honestly, it gets a little drawn out and it kind of goes long. And it just has this like dark mood to it. Like I know a lot of it's at night, but it's like really, really dark. And I haven't seen that in a long time. And I don't think it's a very good choice of how to film your movie. So I don't know why they went that way. So I would advise, the director of this movie to kind of think about a Western as, out on the range with plenty of light. And so we can actually see and we can actually like stay alert because this was a really dark around the characters movie all the time. And that didn't really help things because they were so slow and because they was kind of drawn out. So my last thing I have to say about any movie that does this, the ending was horrible. It really was. Um, I know not many people are going to see this. I know not many people have heard of this movie. So I'm just going to say that they end up going home. That's cool. Like they talk about what to do after their current situation is over with and they go home. That's cool. But the way they end this movie is just so weird. Like I don't even want to get into what I think it means because I think I know what it means, but I don't know if I actually want to talk to anybody about it. It seems like it might be something really bad. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And the ending was horrible, and I think they could have done something a little neat by carrying out on one of the brothers' ideas and going forth with that and showing them going through with that idea. I think that would have been the most common sense way to go about ending this movie. So I'll have to give this a D. I know anybody who sees it probably is going to agree with me because you can't just survive off of good acting. Phoenix and the Riley and Gyllenhaal, they're all great actors. They've done great things. Riley's really coming into his own after doing a lot of comedy stuff, and he's trying to get a little bit more serious. He kind of played like a dumb ox kind of a brother in this movie, and it kind of worked for him, being the muscle. So I think he could be used in some different facets, and he still has that funny side, but it doesn't have to come like pouring out like some other people that are in serious movies and they're comedians, so they have to be funny the whole time. I really don't think that's him. So I appreciate what he's becoming. And if he keeps on with this mantra, I think good things are ahead for him. Phoenix, I just think he is really going in a downward spiral here. The last couple movies I've seen of his are really terrible. They're boring. They have no point. They have terrible endings. I don't know who he's connecting himself with, but it's not a good thing. And he needs to do some kind of like mainstream movie. I mean, this one was out in theaters, but on a weekend that nobody really cares about the movies coming out. So he needs to do something, and I think do something fast. Maybe he can go back to a musical movie or something. I don't know, but Gyllenhaal's always great. You know, he was probably the most outstanding person in this movie because he was able to play a different character with an accent and all that. So yeah, D for the Sisters Brothers, and I can't say I would ever want to see it again, but the actors in it kind of drive you to at least give it a chance. So thanks a lot, guys. My name is Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would, and enjoy your movies. Thanks.